This is a report card.
Ambitious Ace.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
What's going on?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the report card. I'm your host, Dane Diddy.
Ambitious Ace.
Yeah, man. Top 10 hip-hop albums of the decade. 2010 to 2019.
Yes, sir.
10 years.
Yes, sir.
Do your math if you don't believe me. Use those little fingers. Except for Zach from the Power Rangers. He need a friend to help him count that up.
Don't be afraid to add us, because y'all gonna be mad. I don't care. I'm just letting y'all know that right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of anger with this one. I don't have an order, but I can tell you what number one is for sure.
Yeah, I definitely have
For this
number one. So other than that, there's no order.
Ready to get into it?
Let's go.
I went first last time, man. How about you go first?
All right. So first up, I got Drake. Thank Me Later.
Okay.
I feel like that was a project that was just, I don't know. Because at first, I ain't going to be afraid to admit y'all, I was a Drake hater, all right? So, but with that project, I really felt like, you know, all the features he had on that was really, really dope. To me, it defined the sound for him and everything like that. So I really think that was a real dope album.
Okay. So the first one on my list, man, I'll piggyback off of him. I mean, it definitely ain't Thanking Me Later, though. It's Take Care from Drake.
Well, that was on my R&B list.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I consider this a rap album. Even though you can arguably say this is a split album, I felt like this was a pivotal point for Drake to kind of like submit himself. And I think this is Drake's most cohesive, debatable for a classic album.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, most definitely. Next, I got Before the Money, Joey Badass. Man,
that was his first mixtape, right?
First album, yeah. Yo, that album I can still go back to and listen to all the way through. I really think that album just really brought that whole old school with the new school feel and just the rawness of Joey Badass. Just a great album.
The next one on my list, like I said, no order. You can still at me, but it's not in order. Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
I had to throw this up there. When I was skimming through it, I was just like, man, for some reason, I was just thinking it was just the beginning half of the album that was hard. But nah, it was all of it. It's just the bonus tracks that I felt like, and I ended up loving Double Up, especially after the music video came out. That was fire. But that album is dope, and it was the perfect way for him to go out. You know what I'm saying? Like Victory Lap, like the album is a victory lap to the marathon. You know what I'm saying? It was a celebration, and I feel like you can listen to it now based under the circumstances and look at that as a celebration album of Nipsey's like legacy in his career.
Dope. Next up, I got Big Boy, Sir Lucius Left Foot, the son of Chico Dusty. Listen, man, when I first heard this album, to me, it was just ridiculous. Just the whole sound, like you got the funky kind of beginning, and just the assortment of different like styles he hit throughout the album was just timeless to me. There's been countless nights that I listened to this album. I used to be a night shift stalker. This album would be always on the playlist. I don't know why. It was just there. This album right here is just, I mean, damn near perfect for me as far as Big Boy's catalog go. I really love the album.
I love that baller blocking song with Gucci Mane.
Yeah, Shine Blockers.
Yeah, Shine Blockers.
Yeah.
The next joint on my list, man. This guy's a genius. Straight genius. You can debate every one of his albums deserve to be on this list. I'm talking about no other than Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
Amazing Pulitzer Prize winning album. Normally, I don't give a damn what any awards say, but this album was super creative. He took a real big risk with like having his sound switched like this, straight live instrumentation, Thundercat, Soundwave. Like he took a huge chance, and then just the fact that he phrased the whole album through a poem, it was just amazing to me. And then this also came out around the same time as Solange, if I'm not mistaken, or if it wasn't out around the same time A Seat at the Table was, it was still playing when A Seat at the Table came out. So it was still having the same type of impact, along with the whole incidents that were happening with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. So shout out to Kendrick for To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly is on my list as well. This album right here just showed me another avenue of Kendrick that I did not expect. I mean, I can't say I expected it, but not on the level of this, because I remember his rollout for it, like, you know, and everything like that. I was just really curious to how it was going to sound because, you know, you drop with I and everything like that. and I don't think he dropped anything after I.
The Black of the Berry.
The Black of the
like
Berry,
right
yeah,
before the album dropped.
Yeah, so it was really a surprise, the whole album. And I remember listening to it for the first time. I'll never forget. I was in the bus in the morning, and just the whole, it took me into like a trance. Like, you know, the album just took me out of where I was at the moment. And I think that's what cements its legacy, is the fact that this album will take you somewhere from beginning to end.
Next joint on my list, man. Watch the Throne, Jay-Z, Kanye West. I had to put it up here when I skimmed through it. I was just like, man, I'd be a hater if I didn't put this album on the list. It was a monumental moment for hip-hop. Crazy, this album played everywhere. We were in Virginia. Kanye and Jay-Z ain't from Virginia, and it was playing everywhere. Everybody's car was bumping something from this album.
Yeah, that's true. It was playing everywhere. Next up on my list, might be a surprise for you if you watch this channel, but Big Krit Forever is a mighty long time. When I first reviewed this album, I think I gave it like a B, and I was just like, I don't know if this is better than the last one. But this is an album that has grown with me, that I've gone back to periodically, and now I really look at it as a standout album from Big Krit. I don't know what I was thinking at first. Maybe it was just the whole double disc thing, because, you know, it was a really long album and everything like that. But sitting down with it more and more after we did it and months prior, like, it's just an overall complete package of what I like listening to. I really love how he did the whole Justin Scott, Big Krit kind of duality of his self and everything like that. So to me, it just really stands out as one of the most impactful projects of the decade.
Why did this next album make my list? Just go listen to it and you should know why. Royce da 5'9", The Book of Ryan. Crazy album. Love it. Love the storytelling throughout. Love the lyrical content. Love the personal stories from Royce. This was probably his most open album that he had put out up to this point. Crazy. Love it.
Next up, I got Childish Gambino, Because the Internet. This album is a particular favorite of mine just because I'm a big fan of Childish Gambino. But in terms of album quality, after he delivered Camp, he came out of nowhere with this album and delivered something that was really unique to the ears. For most people, it come off as like distraught and weird because of how he arranged the album. But I really took it as like a really dope musical experience. He had a lot of hits on there too, like, you know, 3000 and everything like that.
Yeah, we reviewed that album. It was fire.
Yeah, the album was crazy. So I really love that album.
Next joint on my list, man. Is this guy weird? Yeah. Is he crazy? Absolutely.
I think I know you're going with.
Did I want to add him to my list? No. But I'd be hating if I didn't.
Which one?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy from Kanye West, because nothing else that came out in the last decade deserves to make any list. This album was pretty monumental.
Yeah.
When it first came out, the production on it was crazy. Tiana Taylor singing in the background on songs like, what's the first joint out there? Can we get much higher? I don't even remember the name of the track. I mean, that whole album, just the way the songs were just, the way the whole album was just dropping. And yeah, I know every word.
Even though I'm a hater right now, I still know the lyrics.
Yeah, album was crazy. Nicki Minaj had one of the best verses of her, like, ever on Monster.
Yeah.
One of the best beats I had ever heard for the joint with Rick Ross, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah.
Like, that album was really dope. When Power came out, I was spazzing. I was just like, yo, this album about to be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kanye West for making that album.
Next up, I got Lupe Fiasco, Tetsuo, and Youth. Now, this is not going to be on a lot of people's top 10, I don't expect. Just because people think Lupe is overcomplicated and all that junk. But listen, I thought this album was beautiful from beginning to finish. Me as a Lupe fan was really pleased when this album came out. It's an album that really gets better with time. Not saying it was whack at first, but the more you listen to it, the more you appreciate it. The whole thing about, you know, you can listen to the album backwards and it has another meaning to it and everything like that. Lupe did it. You know, he crafted this from beginning to end. The album artwork he did himself. It literally cemented as a piece of art to me. So I could not go without mentioning my man Lupe and Tetsuo and Youth.
He crazy for putting Lupe on his list. I guess I'm crazy too, because I put Lupe on my list, Tattoo on You. Matter of fact, that's where I met him, period.
Yeah.
Lupe, Tattoo on Youth concert.
Yep.
Crazy concert.
Crazy.
Album is dope. Murals is one of the best hip-hop songs I've heard, but if you don't like long hip-hop songs, then you'll probably have a heart attack listening to all those bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then just the fact that he tied it to the seasons.
Yeah.
And then he had the palate cleansing just to help you change your like feelings for the next set of songs. I mean, I love the winner on that album, but you know, all parts of the album are crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lupe, man. One of his best projects he ever made.
Shout out. Next,
Top 3?
Are we at the top 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I already said one of my top 3s.
Oh.
But I'll just go ahead with the next one in order. One of my top 3s was To Pimp a Butterfly. Just to let y'all know. But
you didn't say that?
Huh?
I don't think you said that.
Yeah, when you said To Pimp a Butterfly,
Oh, okay.
I mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
But that was actually in my top 3.
Oh.
But next up, I got J. Cole, 2014 Forest Hills Drives. Just classic album. I mean, from beginning to end. Dope album. Dope experience that he shot in his hometown for the HBO special. Just everything about that album, it just hits. It just knocks. Dope album.
2014 Forest Hills Drive. I mean, that joint is fire. Front to end.
Yeah.
No debating.
Not at all.
J. Cole's best album.
Yeah.
I'm not debating that. That's J. Cole's best album. It is fire.
Fire.
I don't really don't know what else to say about it. And then the soundtrack album or the live performance album, the live version, sounds crazy too.
Yeah.
Crazy album.
All right, next up, it was hard because there was 2 albums I could have put on this list, but I went with one.
I know where you're going with this.
So I got Rhapsody, and I chose Eve because that album right there, man, I think it's getting the respect it deserves to a certain extent, but I don't really think it's getting the respect it deserves because that album is flawless to me, man. Just the whole idea of having a song, each song about a different black woman in history, and the bars that Rhapsody just effortlessly flows. I listen to the album repeatedly, and I can't get enough of it. I mean, to me, it's just an album that cements her status as a hip-hop MC, period. And I really love it.
You might just have to diddle me on everything he just said, except for one exception. I was sitting here, I had both her albums on my list. So I eventually said, you know what, I'm going to go with Layla's Wisdom.
Okay.
But see, Eve is lyrically better. Like Rhapsody really got better.
Yeah.
But see, I'm going to pick Layla's Wisdom because to me personally, it's a fire album. And I saw her perform this album live. And it was crazy. It just put it over the top for me.
Yeah.
I love this project. I listen to it all the time. My son hears it all the time because every time I listen to some of the songs, he's always got to sing some of the background noises and stuff like that. Like Optahaj, like he loves singing the background of that. On the joint, I'm losing my the song name, but the joint with Busta on it. When the joint changes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You say you just copped the Mustang. I'm looking at you like a Mustang. Sweat me in mine. I bet $1 your nut stank. Like that whole joint. Like that joint is crazy. You must know.
There you go.
Like he's always singing the hook for that. So shout out to Rhapsody, man. She got 2 classics in 1 decade.
Yes.
Arguably more because that album on that her first mixtape. That's my bad. It's not even her first mixtape, but her mixtape that she put out, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That joint was crazy too.
Yeah.
So Rhapsody, she destroyed this decade. There's no female rapper that comes close.
None.
And Rhapsody is one of the best rappers, period.
Bar none.
Like she had the most bars of 2019. In my personal opinion. And on top of that, just to throw some more controversy and salt on top of that, the female rappers bodied the men in 2019. I've been telling everybody that. Rhapsody, Meg Thee Stallion.
Adam, y'all.
Say what you want. I mean, we got dudes that's like googly boogly. I'm swagged out. I wear my Protect. Got some new baguettes. That's what we getting from the dudes.
So you want to do honorable mentions first before we do number 1, or it doesn't matter?
What you mean number 1? I still got 2. I got 2 more. No, you're right. You're right. It's number 1. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
I'm about to say.
I'm tripping.
So honorable mentions, I had Layla's Wisdom, Section 80, Damn, Dark Sky Paradise, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Run the Jewels 2 and 3, and Harlan and Alondra by Buddy.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so my honorable mentions, man, I got Eve by Rap City, which is kind of like parallel his. Section 80 by Kendrick Lamar. It's literally written in the same order. We did not talk to each other about this. Damn by Kendrick Lamar. Jesus Pieces by The Game. Daytona by Pusha T. Room 25 by No Name.
Good one.
That's a really slept on album. Y'all guys need to go check that out. No News is Good News by Fonte. Crazy album.
Yeah.
I got Igor by Tyler the Creator
Word?
up here. Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I actually rock with that album, man.
Okay.
And Elmatic by Elzai.
Okay.
It almost made my list. I just didn't put it there just because a lot of people would probably be like, but he kind of copied Nas. So it's like, but it still was a crazy album, man. Shout out to Elzai. Don't get enough respect out here.
All right. So for my number one.
I'm pretty sure we have the same album.
You sure? I don't know because I already. All right, y'all. My number one. Let me just give a dope intro for this album right here. Listen, he's already been on my list once. See, I was trying to fight him not to be on my list more than once, but it was hard. But
he's all in your honorable mentions too, because I know it's the same person.
But this album right here, man. Listen, beautiful storytelling. Beautiful production, lyrics, bars, everything from beginning to end. You can picture it in your head as you're listening to the album. No matter what, no matter where you listen to it, it's there. Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Hey, man, that album right there, I don't know what to tell you. To me, that's the best album of the decade right there because he literally gave us a story that was fluid from beginning to end. And not only was the story cohesive, but his sound was cohesive through the whole project. And every time I listen to it, I just get the same vibe. Me riding a bus, listen to this story, picturing him in his mama van. And it's just like, yo, I'm there. I can see everything that's happening. The whole with his boy getting shot, them having a prayer with the neighbor played by Maya Angelou and everything like that. And the album is just so vivid through your head. And I can't, other than The Pimp a Butterfly, there's not another album like that that gets in my head vividly. So Good Kid, Mad City, man, dope ass album.
I don't have nothing else to say.
I'm surprised yours is the same one. I didn't know.
I mean, I got a lot to say, actually. I know people are like, what you mean you ain't got nothing to say? Good Kid, Mad City, obviously. You listen to Shireen. Like, first off, any dude that got an album that got a title track named Shireen, a.k.a. something
Master Splinter's daughter?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You got a song, her name is Shireen. Shireen! You ever seen House Party? You know the significance of that name, Shireen. Everybody in House Party likes Shireen, right? You like Shireen, right?
Yeah, Shireen.
Yeah. Bang Bang, you like Shireen, right?
We all had our Shireens.
Everybody loves Shireen.
Yeah.
Like you ain't really care for Tisha Campbell character, right? She was okay.
She was all right.
She wasn't better than Shireen.
But Shireen.
Yeah, Shireen was fire. So when you got a song and the girl's name is Shireen,
man,
and then just the vividness of that. Like when he talked about how, you know, he was driving, he had to get a text.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
like
picture
almost
that whole scene.
Yeah, she
how
took
he's
a picture of her breast. He almost ran the bumper into a Corvette. Because if you young and you got a text like that while you driving, you know what that was like to almost crash when you see that text.
Man.
Like, you know, like just the whole vividness, you know, like, man, I know her cousin's gangbang. I don't know if I want to go see. I don't know if I want to ride out there. Like he said, fuck it, I got some heart. I'm like, it ain't gonna do nothing. I ride out there. Mm-hmm. Like, man, like that album is so vivid, so crazy, so Money Trees. Everything about that album is ridiculous. And it's the best album of the last decade, bar none. It's hard to even like debate anybody that feels opposite. I know a lot of people that don't like Kendrick Lamar. I don't understand how.
I don't either.
But that album changed a lot.
Yeah.
In hip hop.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Nobody thought you can get far in hip hop doing what he did with that album, and he did it. He made a song encouraging you about how bad drinking alcohol was, but everybody
thought it was
alcohol.
about drinking.
They thought it was about drinking. He's trying to tell you the bad effects of drinking in the song, and you didn't even catch it. You're partying to a song where he's telling you not to drink.
Not to drink that much. You know, watch your limits.
Yeah, and then
y'all
you get
still
that.
Not doing it.
And then the art of peer pressure. I love that song because it's like it just reminds me of when I was young And I didn't want to admit some of the stuff that I did. I would only do because the homies was around. But when I was by myself, I wouldn't even think slightly to engage in any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Album is crazy.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this: was it hard to put like "Damn" in your honorable mentions?
Nah, it wasn't.
Because it wasn't. Because I still
once I
think
picked
the
Good
album
Kid,
is
Mad
dope.
City,
Yeah.
I was just like, it was between Damn and To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
And To Pimp a Butterfly slightly edged it, even though I love
Because I'm
Damn.
telling you, all 4 of those albums could have been in my top 10.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
Like so in our list, we mentioned all 4 Kendrick's albums.
Yeah.
1 of J. Cole's.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. 444 was in my honorable mentions too.
Oh, okay. That's
But it barely missed the list.
Yeah.
And Rhapsody almost had 2 in my top 10.
Yeah.
So this decade was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There was a couple years that none of the albums made my top 10. Like my top 10, 2010, 2012, 2011, 15, 18, 17.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple years where I just didn't feel like the albums that came out that year deserved to make the list.
True.
And like I said, I didn't want Kanye to make my list just because it's antics these days. But I'd just be a straight hater if I wasn't like even admitting the fact that Kanye's done fire shit.
Yeah. True. True.
Hey man, add us Twitter at TRC Podcast Live,
Ambitious Ace,
Instagram at TRC Podcast.
Ambitious Image.
Let us know how you feel about our list. I'm pretty sure you will. Let us know what's on your list. I'm curious to see what you guys will pick for the top album of the last decade.
Let us know what we forgot.
I didn't forget nothing.
That's what I'm just saying.
How'd
how'd y'all forget about this and that? Let us know.
How did Freddie Gibbs not make your list?
Sorry.
That's it, right?
That's it.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.